Welcome to AromaticChat, the podcast that introduces you to registered, clinical, and certified aromatherapists around the world. Every other week, my mom sits down with a different aromatherapist to learn about their aromatic journey and how they use the plants that God has given us in their lives and their businesses. Aromatic Chat is produced by Lemon Balm Coaching, and your host is my amazing mother, Melissa. She is a master transformational coach and a registered aromatherapist.
Hey friends, welcome to podcast episode number 96, Aromatic Chat with JoAnne Lang. JoAnne has been working with essential oils for the last 35 years. They have been her medicine, skincare, hygiene, emotional anchors, household cleaners, aching muscle relief, balancer, and nighttime soother throughout her career. JoAnne is a practitioner and teacher in Australia and is a breath of joy. You are going to be so glad you tuned in today to hear about Bento, that's coming up, and her aromatic journey. So let's get started. JoAnne, I am just thrilled that you have agreed to come onto the podcast and share your story, because I did read a little bit about you, and you have been at this aromatherapy thing for quite a while.
Yes, quite a while, since the late 80s.
Yeah. So I can't wait to hear your story and have you share it with all of the listeners. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up practicing aromatherapy.
Yeah, so aromatherapy was around me. My mum used to use some oils for me. I was a very, very sickly asthmatic growing up in London, England, and I was always sick. And then as I grew into a teenager and early 20s, I would constantly have urinary tract infections, and then I'd have coughs and colds. And back in those days, they used to give you antibiotics. So I was on a constant stream of antibiotics. And I tried oils for myself and found that they just dabbled for a number of years. And then I think I became very, very serious when I had my first child. And I could see history repeating with him. And I knew that I had to stop dabbling and I had to get serious with the oils. And both of my children really have never had to take antibiotics. I think maybe once in their lives, and they're in their 30s now, because the oils are just so amazing. I always say tea tree gave me back an immune system, and a beautiful Australian oil as well, so that's pretty special. So that it really was for the health of my children, and yeah, it's been an incredible journey with the oils.
And isn't that the way that it is? We will do anything for our kids. Like I could have done it for myself, sure, but my kids, absolutely.
Kids and dogs for me.
Yes, kids and our pets, absolutely. We'll give up everything for them, but we forget to take care of ourselves sometimes. Do you find that?
Yes, and that's something I'm learning. I'm going to turn 60 this year, and I've really decided now it is, there's no virtue in being a martyr. You need to look after yourself, and especially as I'm getting older. So yes, I'm really leaning into the oils in the last few years for myself, and really taking that time.
Yeah. So was it your firstborn's asthma that led you to study aromatherapy seriously?
He didn't actually have asthma, but he had lots of coughs and colds. And I do always wonder with asthma if maybe my parents had gone down a natural route, if I'd actually have asthma now, or if it was the medications that had, worked on the cilia and not allowed my body to heal itself, which I really believe we can if we use the right tools, and that they're all around us in natural therapies, that food and natural products. I wouldn't be an asthmatic now. So I believe that early intervention is what prevented him from going down that path.
That's amazing. That's beautiful. I love that. And it is true. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Our bodies were designed to heal themselves. If we give it the right tools, like you said, food and the natural remedies, our bodies can do amazing things.
Absolutely, yes.
So you're almost 60 and
Yep.
you've been using essential oils. Let me do the math. 90, a long
About
time.
36 years.
Yeah, 36 years. So you've gone through many stages yourself. How have you seen the essential? I'm just being real, right?
Yes.
I'm on the other side of that myself. So, but how have you seen the essential oils help you through the different stages of your life?
Oh, that they really have. So, PMTs, PMS, um, definitely for asthma, for well, sleep, stress. To be perfectly honest, in the last few years, I've gone through a marriage breakup after 35 years, and leaning into the oils in the last few years has been incredible for uh, uh, supporting me through that. But
Mm.
supporting my children has been incredible. I have a beautiful dog who's getting a bit older now, and I use the oils for him. So I always joke with my students that if it doesn't move, I'll oil it. There'll be an essential oil applied to it. So there isn't an aspect of my life. This morning I've had my cup of tea with my bergamot oil, so I make my own Earl Grey tea. It's my toothpaste I've made myself with essential oils, all my cleaning products, my skincare. It's basically if it stays still for long enough, I'll put an oil in it
Amazing. Is there a particular
safely.
is there a particular oil that you've really leaned into and why?
Yes, so with both of my children, they had both been supposedly going to be natural births. My first son, there was this Laboyer method of childbirth with soft lights and so on. And I was in a country town in Western Australia, and I got chucked in an ambulance and rushed to Perth. So I didn't get to have my oils and to have all the beautiful areas with him. So at that stage, I was using lavender and frankincense and sandalwood to
Mm,
de-stress from the shock of not being in charge of my birthing experience. My second child was supposed to be born in London, in a birthing tank in a massive hospital in the middle of London, and they ran out of hot water, so I didn't get to fill my birthing tank. And to this day, I can remember so it was recommended that we use lavender and neroli in the birthing tank, just a few drops, so that he'd enter the world with these beautiful aromatics, diluted. And that didn't happen because they didn't have the hot water. So I just sat with the neroli, and I can remember feeling that so upset and so angry that I had been denied this natural childbirth again, and was feeling it. I felt like I was on the edge of a cliff
mm.
and whether I was going to jump or not. And I just pulled out I was holding on to the neroli at this time, and I held it, and it felt like these arms wrapped around me and pulled me back. And every time I smell neroli now, that's the feeling I get. And yeah, so they've worked on absolutely every aspect of my mind, body, and spirit.
Is there an oil that you're leaning into now at this postmenopausal stage?
Um, we have this incredible oil Fregonia in
Mhm.
WA. It's our oil, so that's been important for me for a number of years. For that, the oil for letting go, but also it's very similar in its properties and effects to tea tree oil. So I've been using it for its an emotional and for its physical effects. So I've found with going through menopause that things like hay fever, which I hadn't really suffered with in the past, and the Fregonia seems to help with that as well. So Fregonia and neroli will always be close at hand, and frankincense as an asthmatic, to remind me to breathe deeply. So they're three of my oils that are on constant rotation in my home.
Excellent. Now, I know you're a teacher of aromatherapy, but are you also practicing aromatherapy?
Yes.
Like seeing clients?
Oh, that's my favorite. So, March last year, I opened up a new aromatherapy center. And
Mm.
for 10 years, I'd worked from home. I had dedicated classroom and a blending room at home. But now with this new space, I've found this. It's lovely. I go into work and I say, I'd forgotten how much I love to sit and having my blending room, and I can sit and design new blends and create new products, and it's reawakened that side of my passion. Teaching's always been a big part of it, but playing with the oils and creating new blends for myself, for my business, and I also do custom blends for other people. And to have this new space it's awakened that creativity. So yes, I occasionally do massage, but I've always said to my students, I feel that we need to have a few, particularly in Western Australia. We're quite a small state in terms of population, not in size, but we have to be quite adaptable, because you possibly wouldn't make a living from just providing aromatherapy treatments, as in massage or consulting. So we need to be quite good at finding lots of different areas to apply our aromatic knowledge. So, but as I will say to students, that maybe, as a massage therapist, we may have a shelf life. The body just simply can't massage daily for into our later years. So making skincare, making products and so on. So it's been part of my life. I've never focused on just one area. I'm always kind of involved in lots of different areas.
I love that. And what other passions do you have outside of aromatherapy?
Um, I love walking the dog, going to the beach. And in the last couple of years, I've discovered Pilates,
Mm.
which, I think I'm a bit of an addict. I pop on I have a blend called Citrus Fizz, which is there's lots of citrus oils in there, but there's also the beautiful Mei Chang and the
Mm.
lemon scented myrtle. And I'll pop that on my top, and I'll rub a couple of drops into my hands and inhale before I go into class. And I give it my all. And the combination of the oils and the music and the fabulous teachers, and yeah, it's become quite a definite highlight of my day.
As a teacher, I would assume that you come across this with your students, that the stories that we amass as practitioners are so important. The things that we can look back on that remind us why we're doing what we're doing. Do you have a story like that that you'd be willing to share?
Lots of them. And you're absolutely right. I find with my students that they relate to real life stories far better than the theory. And so I think one of the funny ones, it maybe, is my children. Many years ago, we had chickens, and they all got attacked by a dog. So we had this one chicken who had a deformity, and she was called Bento because she had a bent toe. And we one afternoon, no, actually it was one morning, my son came running in and he said, Bento's unwell. So we brought Bento in, and she was lethargic, almost paralyzed. She
Mm.
wouldn't sit up or anything. So we took on that, the father of medicine. The way to health is to have a scented bath and aromatic massage daily. And so
Mhm.
I applied that to my chicken. So every morning we would have to bath the chicken because she'd soiled herself. So we'd put her in the bath with some essential oils. And I do remember Palmarosa was a big oil with that, because whenever my children smell Palmarosa now, they still, in their 30s, say, oh, that just reminds me of Bento, Mum.
Bento.
And there were lots of other oils like rosemary and so on. But we would give her a bath, and then we would dry her off, and then I'd massage her. And we did notice that there was some movement, particularly if I worked with the rosemary oil along the spine. So she was brought into the house. She went into the spare bedroom. We'd leave the aircon on for her all day, and she had her own vaporizer, and she'd stay in the bedroom all day. After her scented bath and aromatic massage each morning. And I think it took about 10 days, and we got her moving again. And she lived for another couple of years after that. So that's one of my highlights. And I always remember my sons were a bit dismissive of what I do, Mum and her smelly stuff. But for a week or so there, I was a bit of a hero, me and the essential oils. So that was one of my favorite stories. But there are so many of them because the oils work. So the beauty of having students is I'm constantly around these success stories, whether it's my applying my skills, or my students going away and working with their friends and families. It's a fabulous field to be in because we see so many positive outcomes.
It is such a positive modality. It really,
Yes.
truly is. Just again, the stories that we amass as practitioners, they floor me as a practitioner, and then to hear other people's stories as well. And I love that you treated your chicken. I just think that's amazing. I do. I really do. We raised ducks for a while, and they brought us so much joy. I just love that.
Oh, yes.
So what kind of courses do you offer? We keep talking about your students, but what do you teach them?
Well, everything from a 2-hour workshop up to a clinical diploma of aromatherapy. So our courses are all accredited. So we're with organisations like in Australia, it's the IICT, and globally we're with AIA for the level 4 certificate with them.
Wow.
Yeah, I love the diploma because you spend the whole year with the students that way, and then another year of them completing all of their assignments and so on. So it's really lovely to share that really deep journey with students. But equally, I love I have a course which is a certificate 2 in aromatherapy, and that is where the first joy is, because showing people the oils, they may not really know much about them to start with, and at the end of that 8 weeks they just 6'2" and made of steel with their essential oils. They're feeling really empowered and excited to apply their knowledge to friends and family.
Are your courses in person or online or a hybrid?
Yes, a hybrid. So yeah, we mostly, I love the idea of having students in class, but in the last 5-6 years we've embraced Zoom, and so we either have students live on Zoom or we make recordings and send them to them. But it's not pre-recorded. If you enroll in 2024, you'll receive 2024 recordings. And I'm learning every day. So what I would have taught last year, it will be different this year. I'm trying to think of new oils that I've come across in the last year. I think in terms of what I'd be adding to the courses, and at the moment it's as much about we're getting so many new essential oils being more available in Australia. It's mind blowing. When I arrived, I think we used to think, oh well, yes, we've got tea tree, eucalyptus, and sandalwood. And now the list is just incredible. It's fabulous.
Yeah. Do you offer continuing education courses for certified aromatherapists?
Not as such, but there is, in terms of sending out newsletters and any new information I share with my diploma students.
Okay. Excellent. So the mission of the podcast is to connect you with your ideal client, the people who need you the most. So how could people find you and what you're doing?
I suppose by my website, which is aromatherapywa.com.au. I'm also on Instagram, which is Eclipse Aromatherapy, and on Facebook, which is Eclipse Living Essence Aromatherapy Centre. Social media is not my jam, to be honest. So I haven't kept the same name for each of them, which is crazy, really. But
That's all right. Most of the aromatherapists I speak with, we're all like, social media, we do it
yeah,
because it's there, but it's not what we love. So
that's one of my resolutions for this year, is to become a little bit better at all of that, because we're living in WA, and we actually call Western Australia wait a while, because we're a little bit behind everywhere else in lots of things. So I need to get out there, because a lot of people don't know of my college, and it's been around for 33 years now. So I need to, address that.
yeah, and definitely get people to know that you're there and what you're doing, because like you said, I mean, we this is just such an amazing modality, so positive, and people need positivity right now, don't they?
Oh, for sure. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you working on right now that's got you really excited? And it doesn't have
But
to be aromatherapy related. It could be anything.
it is, because my new business is not quite a year old. It is really on. When I first went in, it was very much about the essential oils, because I sell essential oils and I make products and so on. And I just realized that not everybody is as into the oils as I am. So it is creating new products. So I've been working on crazy things like washing powders. And
Mm.
I'm just trying to remove the last of the synthetic products from my world. And washing powder didn't really, um, it just didn't enter my mind so much. I had a very male dominated home, so I always felt that I couldn't possibly make washing powders that would be good enough for the grease and grime of the
Mhm.
males in the house. But now I'm working on that, and working on new serums, and just looking forward to students coming back in February this year.
Oh, incredible. So you've been at this aromatherapy thing for over 30 years. I mean,
Yeah.
that is incredible, because I feel like it really started booming here in the United States back in the 20 teens, like 2014, 15, 16, when the multi-level marketing companies really exploded. But the fact that Australia has been at this for so long is just really inspiring. And
Mm.
I'm curious, like, who inspires you and why?
Oh, I have a lot of people. So I did originally train in London, in England, before I emigrated to Australia. And one of my very first teachers was the author Patricia Davis.
Mm,
And I still love her work, and her book Aromatherapy and A to Z is something that I recommend to my certificate 2 students. I just love it. It's just so easy, and her subtle aromatherapy book, working with chakras. I didn't know what chakras were until I was introduced to Patricia, and so I love her work. Joy Bowles, Joy Bowles, the chemist. She's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. She taught me chemistry back in the 90s, and I found that so empowering. I think I would have lent more towards the esoteric side of aromatherapy, but learning chemistry is so empowering, and so Joy is very inspiring. And I haven't. There's a gentleman called Ron Goober, but we haven't seen much of him recently. He was a powerhouse of information, so he was so inspiring as well.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Thank you so much. JoAnne, I'm curious if you have something special for Aromatic Chat listeners.
Yes, well, we have classes starting in late February, early March, and anyone that if they mention this podcast, I'm happy to give them a 10% discount on the cost of the courses.
JoAnne, that is so generous. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome, and I really do enjoy your podcasts. I do find them to be really just great that as I say, Kate, learning about personal uses of oils and how they've impacted people's lives. I feel your podcast really delivers that side of things.
Oh, thank you so much. So as we come down to the end of our time together, I just always like to hand the floor back over to my guest. If there's something special you'd like to share with the listeners, if you feel like maybe I forgot something, now would be the time.
Sometimes in aromatherapy, I feel that the sort of what we call the carrier mediums are neglected. So that's something that I really, really love also. At the moment, everybody's talking about castor oil, but clays. I've been using therapeutic clays for many years, and to combine them, and I think that is what the beauty of aromatherapy is. Essential oils can combine, and that synergistic effect of combining the essential oils with the different, all these amazing carrier oils that we're this being made more commercially available, and the clays, and just all of those different mediums. And so that's something that I'm really interested in. And I'm not a fan of just having a fractionated coconut or it's not just chuck the oils in a medium. That medium is so important also. So I sometimes feel that that's neglected a little bit in some areas.
Yes, I actually just picked up Susan Parker's book, Power of the Seed.
Oh, that's a
And
beautiful book.
and I've started devouring this so that I
Yes.
can use more of those base oils in the products that I make as well. And
Yes.
they're so nourishing. They're so nourishing to the skin. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. JoAnne, thank you so much for taking time out of your early morning there in Australia to speak with me. I appreciate you so much. And the fact that you've been doing this for so long, really, honestly, incredible and inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. I hope you enjoyed this episode with JoAnne Lang. Remember to receive 10% off of one of her courses. Mention Aromatic Chat when you sign up. Aromatic Chat is produced by Lemon Balm Coaching. I'm your host, Melissa, life and wellness coach for the broken, exhausted, hopeless, and overwhelmed. I'm a master transformational coach, registered aromatherapist, and certified body code practitioner. Would you be open to leaving a review on Apple Podcast? I really, honestly, truly love to read them. I will see you next time with our next episode. Until then, peace, love, and aromatics.